78 Fight News here with the Brother Blood Boxing. We're going to talk a little bit about the Money Team Promotions. What's up, Blood?
What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. You heard the news? What you think about this Mayweather and 50 Cent's collaboration on the Money Team Promotion?
You know what, man? I really think that it could be a good thing. It could really be something special if they do it right.
Right.
If they come in there and they make an impact, a positive impact, by putting together some fights that the fans want to see, then, you know, this thing, sky's the limit, man. It could go all the way to the top. They already have a really good lineup. I heard that they just recently got Berto and Judah, right?
Right.
So, you know, with names like that, that's a good way to start things out. For me, you know, I'm always supportive of a brother doing something. But if they come and they start putting on bullshit fights and doing like all these other promoters have been doing, then I'm not going to no longer support them. So hopefully they'll do it right.
Right. Man, I think it's gonna be the shit, man. I think that they so far they got Gamboa, Andre Durrell, they got the guy from Australia, Billy the Kid. They got who else they got? Andre Berto, Zab Judah, and what's his name? Cabero? What's the featherweight guy?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I heard they got him too.
Yeah, so they probably put him up against Gamboa in one of their first little events or something. They probably have him up against Gamboa. I don't know, but I think they're gonna make some noise, and I think that a lot of young fighters are gonna start signing with these guys. A lot of people.
Well, I agree with you, because one thing you have to look at is the age factor with 50 Cent and guys like Bob Arum, if you want to talk about Top Rank specifically.
Right.
These guys can relate more to somebody who's closer to their age. Most fighters come from a poverty background, and 50 Cent comes from humble beginnings, and he could probably understand a few things that some other people can't understand.
Right.
Now, I was really supportive of De La Hoya when he said that he was going to go out and, you know, start doing this promotional thing. But to me, he just ended up like all the other promoters as of recent. So
right.
I don't really support Golden Boy anymore like I used to. But I was happy to see an alternative to Top Rank back in the day. And now, once again, I'm happy to see another company come out, and hopefully they do something with it. That's all I can say, man. You know, we'll know once we see what kind of business moves they plan on making. Because as fight fans, you cannot lie to the fight fan.
Right.
So we will know if they're bullshit or not. It won't take long for us to know if they're going to really be making some noise and making some changes in boxing, because we need some fucking change.
Absolutely. You know, and it's going to be real interesting, man, to see this unfold, because you know, Floyd will probably, you know, he getting out in a couple of days. He'll probably, most likely going to have about 2 more fights. You know, I would like to see him retire personally, but he probably going to have a couple more fights just to get the promotional company off the ground. And then, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the old guard like Top Rank. I think Top Rank pretty much finished. If TMT does what it's supposed to do, I think they're going to put Top Rank out of business.
Well, they've already had a pretty interesting relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. I heard that him and 50 Cent had some words on Twitter. I don't really do the Twitter thing, but from what I was reading, I heard they already had some words. But they're gonna have to work together, like you was telling me earlier. They're gonna have to work together, man, to pop off some good fights, man. That's what we want to see as fight fans. It would be sad to see somebody else coming to the game just to fill their pockets up and giving us some bullshit fights. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they make some changes in the fight game. To me, it's all talk until we start seeing what kind of fights these guys bring to the table, what kind of cards they put together. That's what's going to answer all the questions.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, in 2013, y'all better look out, man. Y'all better look out for Zab Judah. I'm telling you, he gonna be the man at 140 again. Watch what I tell you.
Another thing we gotta look at too is guys like Bob Arum are quick to dismiss somebody like 50 Cent as a legit businessman. Even though 50 Cent has already been successful in business, he will dismiss him as a businessman for obvious reasons.
Right.
So these promotional companies, they have to know how to work with each other if they're going to sign these fighters and put them in these contracts. They're going to have to know how to work with each other. And I don't really see Bob Arum working with 50 Cent. I don't see it, but I might be surprised. I don't know.
You never know. He might do it out of spite for Golden Boy. He might do it, but I don't know, man. But hey, while we on the line, let's chop it up about Roy Jones, man. Roy Jones Jr. was on ESPN First Take this morning, and he was weighing in on Pacquiao Mayweather saga or whatever, and then they asked him about his status in boxing, and he said that he would whoop on the Klitschko's, but he not gonna do it because a lot of people are concerned about his well-being and his health, so that's the only reason he not gonna do it. Man, listen, what are your thoughts on Roy Jones still fighting, man?
First of all, why is he concerned about what other people say in regards to the Klitschko? Shouldn't he be going for the top 5? I mean, if he really was concerned in what the boxing fans were saying, he would have retired nearly 10 years ago.
Right.
So that's bullshit for him to come and say shit like that.
Yeah.
It's best for Roy Jones to retire at this point, but at this point, Roy Jones already did so much damage to his legacy. He's been knocked unconscious quite a few times now. So I don't really think that he could do anything to help his legacy that he's already tarnished. He's tarnished his legacy. There's no coming back from a few of those knockouts. It took Green 1 round to knock him out. And then he lost to some guy who's unknown. For the most part, then he had that last fight where he was knocked down. I watched as much of that fight as I could bear. But from what I was seeing, he won a split decision. But from what I saw, I thought the little guy was whooping his ass, personally. So, to me, Roy just needs some people around him. Somebody really needs to tell him, like, look, man, you got a family here. You need to go on ahead and retire because, personally, I do think that Roy Jones has been damaged already.
Yeah, me too.
I think that he suffered from some damage.
Yep. He got brain damage, man. You can see it in his face when he talk and smile now. He don't even look the same, man. He look like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
You got that glaze, man.
Yeah, man.
Glaze in his eyes. You can see it.
Like what? I'm gonna use the Rocky term. He looked punchy. That's what he looked.
Yeah. And speaking on Rocky, it's like what you were telling me earlier about Apollo Creed. Right. I think you should say that. Go ahead. What was that you were telling me earlier about Apollo Creed?
I was saying that Roy remind me of this stage of Roy Jones. Remind me of Apollo Creed in Rocky IV.
We gotta change sometime.
I don't want to change, man. I like who I am.
I like who you are too, but look at that. You don't want to believe this, but that ain't us up there no more, pal. We can't do that the way we did it before. We're changing. We're like turning into regular people.
Nah, Stallion. Maybe you think you're changing, but you can't change what you really are. And you can forget all this money and stuff you got all around you, man, because it don't change a thing. You and me, we don't even have a choice. See, we're born with a killer instinct that you can't just turn off and on like some radio. We have to be right in the middle of the action because we're the warriors. And without some challenge, without some damn war to fight, then the warrior may as well be dead, Stallion.
Rocky was basically telling Apollo that maybe the fight is not with Drago, maybe the fight is with you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's you against you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. I do believe it is Roy Jones. It's him against him. Because he's doing everything he can just to get a little bit of what he had in the 1990s. He's fighting that old man that he is now. He's fighting against that old man. But the truth and the reality is that we all get old. And at some point, we can no longer do the things that we did when we was younger.
That's right.
It happens to every human being. And at this point, Roy Jones, he's reached that milestone years ago. He reached that milestone almost a decade ago. So,
right.
At this point, Roy Jones really needs to sit down and focus on commentating, because if he keeps on, he's not going to even be able to do commentating anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, that brain damage ain't nothing to play with, man. And like I said, man, I think Roy Jones, I think he's a smart dude, and I think that for him to continue to be fighting at this stage of his career and fighting on the level that he's fighting, I think that he, in some ways, looks at it as going out on with his sword. You know, I think he's looking at it like, you know, I'm gonna get carried out the ring. I don't care. I don't care what people say. You know, it's sad, man. But you know, the most competitive people don't know when to quit. Sometimes, you know, that's why, you know, you got guys who compulsive gamblers and shit, man, lose their fucking house, their kids' college fund and shit like that, because they don't know when to fucking quit. You know what I'm saying? Because of that competitive nature, you got, you know, old man Brett Favre, same way, Michael Jordan, same fucking way, Evander Holyfield, James Toney. You know, you got them people who every once in a while who love what they do so much that they don't know when to lay it down, and they don't know when to say enough is enough. You know?
Yeah. The difference with it is that this is the hurt business.
That's right.
This is boxing. Guys like Michael Jordan and Brett Favre, you know, I know there's some risk in football, but this is boxing. You know, his life, he's putting his life in jeopardy by continuing to step in that ring. It's obvious that Roy Jones can no longer take a punch. I don't know if, you know, if he was ever able to take them punches. When he was younger, nobody could hit him clean.
That's right.
So we didn't have the answer to that question at that time. But we do have the answer now. He's getting hit, and he's getting hit often. Mm-hmm. And he's hitting the canvas often, too. Because he hit the canvas in that last fight on a punch that won hardly nothing. Like, if anybody who saw that knockdown, they would know what I'm talking about. That punch won nothing. And he hit the canvas on that. So it's time for Roy Jones to hang that shit up. He's old now. It's time to hang it up, man. We still want to see Roy Jones around. We want to hear his opinion on some of the things going on today. He's a good commentator. He's damn sure a lot better than guys like Kellerman and Lamprey. I hold his word at much higher value than I hold those guys' word, you know. So we want to see Roy Jones continue doing his thing, but outside of the ropes, not inside of the ropes.
That's right. You know, and this is all out of love. You know, this ain't just no. You know, we just
ain't no diss.
Right.
We ain't dissing Roy Jones.
Right. You know, we're
true fight fans who grew up watching Roy Jones. I believe both of us got his whole career on DVD. Yeah. And it's just sad to see him go from that to this. Absolutely. From one extreme to another. He overstayed his time. He overstayed his time damn near like nobody else since Ali damn near. He really just overstayed his time. His time is up. And the more he stayed, I mean, like I said, his legacy already fucked. But at this point, it ain't even about his legacy. It's about him and his health at this point.
Yeah, he claimed he gonna try to get one more cruiserweight title. He don't care what kind of belt it is, IBO, IBC, or some gibberish belt. He don't give a fuck. He just want a cruiserweight title. Then he can retire. That's what he said on First Take.
That sounds ridiculous. I mean, he's a commentator. He already knows that even the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, those belts don't even mean anything anymore. So why is it important for him to get an alphabet belt? It's not going to help his legacy out any. He's already damaged his legacy. If he gets a cruiserweight, the IBC cruiserweight title, who gives a fuck?
Right.
Really, who cares? Who cares? You can't even fool the average casual boxing fan with that anymore.
Right.
There's nothing left for Roy Jones to prove. There's nothing else that he could accomplish that would help his legacy that he's already tarnished. So the best thing he could do is sit down and commentate while he's still able to do that. Because pretty soon he ain't going to be able to do that. He ain't going gonna come that sad day when Roy Jones walking to HBO, they're gonna tell him, "Look, Roy, we just can't use you anymore."
That's fucked up.
I mean, but don't do that shit now. You know, it's okay for Larry Merchant,
Right.
who's a fucking alcoholic and can barely speak sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
For him to come in, he always gonna have a job. But Roy Jones is different.
Right.
You know, he need to be on point, or else they gonna tell us that one day he gonna go to HBO. We ain't gonna see Roy Jones no more. Ain't nobody gonna tell us what happened. All we gonna know is we ain't seen Roy Jones, but we gonna know what really happened.
Yeah, what the fuck they do to George Foreman, man? Remember Foreman just disappeared off
Yeah,
HBO?
I heard that a lot of that had to do with George Foreman. That's what they put out there in the media, but I don't believe it. What they had put out there in the media was that Foreman wanted to spend some time with his family and this and that, but
He probably
you know, Foreman, you know, a prolific speaker, you know, never took too much damage. I mean,
yeah.
You know,
He didn't kiss.
He took an ass whipping from what's his name, Shannon Briggs and Tommy Morrison, but for the most part, you know, Roy Jones was. George Foreman was never not unconsciously
Right.
the way Roy Jones has been.
Right, and
like,
Foreman,
Roy Jones
he
was
wasn't
not unconscious. Like I'm talking, like when your head hit the canvas and you don't know where the fuck you at. That's the kind of knockouts we saw. I'm not being disrespectful.
Right.
It's fucking true.
Yeah.
Two guys knocked him out who he would have cleaned up. Shit, in the 1990s, he would have made short work of them guys.
Yeah, wouldn't even be no fight. So
Yeah.
it's sad though, man. But you know, this is all I love, man. We got love for Roy Jones Jr. We came up watching him fight, man. We've seen his whole career from start to finish, and Roy should have retired in 2001, 2002, and we in 2012, and this man's still fucking fighting, still getting knocked out, man. Like, this is not a fucking joke, man. Like, I would hate to see a legend like Roy Jones Jr. end up like Gerald McCullum or one of them brothers, you know.
And maybe he needed to go see McCullum.
That's what
maybe
he needed
to go see him.
Yeah.
Or maybe he should listen to Terry Norris speak or Nelson Taylor speak. And I'm not being disrespectful. It's just true.
Riddick Bowe.
It's true. Go put on an interview of Terry Norris in 1990 and then see him on that boy channel who do all them videos. I don't even want to mention his name.
Right.
And see him on that boy channel, and you could tell the difference in how he speaks now to how he used to speak in 1990.
Yeah.
Belgian Taylor, so many of them. Thomas Hines, a lot of them really, really, you know, they stayed too long. They took some damage. And it's obvious now their speech pattern. And like you said, Roy Jones got that look in his face. I've seen it too. And I'm really not being disrespectful.
Right.
But I've seen that the only person who don't see it is Roy Jones himself.
Yeah, man, it's fucked up, man. It's so obvious to look at him and tell there's something ain't right, man. But he trying to pass it off. But it's like, come on, Roy, man. I was watching him on First Take today. I'm like, ain't no fuck. Come on, Roy, man. Just this is not Roy Jones, man. This is not the dude that I remember watching in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? This is not the same cat, man. He done got, and then he going to get treatment and shit for concussions, talking about some revolutionary fucking treatment that can reverse concussions. Man, quit believing that shit, man. Nothing gonna reverse no concussion. You getting brain damage, man. You know, but
nah, ain't nothing gonna help him. When he up here stumbling and shit, and we can't even understand what he's saying 3 or 4 years from now, that's when the reality gonna hit home.
Yeah.
Anybody who around Roy Jones to see this video, we know a lot of y'all motherfuckers watch our videos. Y'all are wrong for letting that man get in that ring. I know you can't physically stop him, but somebody need to put the fire under him and tell him, like, look, man, this shit ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
You need to sit your old ass down and commentate.
And that's one thing you can give credit to Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis didn't stick around for that bullshit. He said, you know what? He said, hey, man, I'm slowing down from the stop right now. I'm on top. Mike Tyson, once he got whooped by that bum-ass Kevin McBride, Tyson said, hey, man, I'm not finna embarrass myself, man. Y'all ain't finna be...
Yeah, and it did hurt his legacy. Now, if he would have kept coming in there, these guys, not only do they fuck up their legacy, but they fuck their damn brains up altogether, but they fuck their legacies up. The more they come in there, when Hagler retired after winning Beal, that's why Hagler has that tight-ass legacy.
Right.
Because he went out with a loss, but that was controversial. But he didn't come back and try to fight Michael Nunn and Julian Jackson and Frank Tate and all those guys who was in the middleweight division at that time. He retired.
Yeah.
So therefore, we get to remember him how he was at his best.
Right.
And when these fighters keep coming back and coming back and coming back, a whole shitload of them need to go ahead and retire.
Yeah, a lot of them, man.
Holyfield, he's damn near 50. He needs to retire. Go ahead and retire. Glenn Johnson, Tarver, he out here taking steroids. He needs to retire. Roy Jones needs to retire. James Toney, go ahead and give him his heavyweight shot.
Yeah.
I say to the Quintos, give James Toney his heavyweight shot so he can retire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you're going to fight Thompson, you might as well fight James Toney.
Right.
Go ahead and give him his heavyweight shot, because to me, James Toney, at least he can still take a punch. I don't like to see him out there still taking punches, but at least he can still take a punch, though.
Yeah, right.
Give the man his heavyweight shot so he can retire. I like to see all of these guys over 40. Bernard Hopkins, all of them, go ahead and fucking retire. Boxing is a young guy sport.
Yeah.
I don't want to see these damn old men in there fighting and then getting hurt up in there, man. And then their legacies get questioned. All that fucking work they put in.
Right.
People erase that. They quit to erase that.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Just like they did with Michael Jordan when he came back with the Wizards. Now these little chicks around here talking about, oh, this guy and that guy better than Jordan, because all they could do is remember when he was in their Wizards uniform.
Right.
You know, when it's their time is up, it's up. Especially in boxing. There's too many consequences out there.
That's right. This ain't, hey, boxing is a lot different, man. This ain't no, you know, you get hit in this motherfucker, man. This ain't no, you know, football got pads and shit like that, and even then you get concussions. But in boxing, you know, you get hit on your fucking chin or you hit the wrong way, man, your ass could be, you know, somewhere in the hospital, you know, with brain damage, fucked up, man. And
brain damage, paralyzed, all kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
We have fighters get paralyzed in the ring. You know, all kind of shit, all kind of physical shit could happen to you. At least they should want to enjoy a little bit of pussy in their older age. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man.
Yep, kick back.
You got families, and you might want to get you some skins on the side. Shit, you putting all that shit in jeopardy. I'm telling you, man, these guys need to go on ahead and retire, man, especially Roy Jones.